So the second objective that we had tonight was to create a savings plan. The way that you're going to be able to create your savings plan, you're going to need a couple of things. Excuse me. Excuse me. The first thing that you're going to need to be able to create your savings plan is 2 to 3 months of printed bank statements. The reason why printed is underlined is because that is the best way, even though it can seem old fashioned, but that is the best way to view your bank statements, to do the activity of highlighting these important categories to be able to find this additional money that you have, um, for some, not even to save, but to make it through the month. Um, but number two, you're going to need three different color highlighters because, like I just alluded to, you're going to be highlighting three different categories or things that you're looking for in your bank statements, in your spending. The third thing that you're going to need is a calculator or your phone. And the fourth thing you're going to need is your household budget. And if you do not have a household budget, you will at least start with your list of expenses, your list of monthly expenses. So these are the things that you're going to need. Screenshot this or take a picture because I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. But these are the things that you need to create your savings plan. Now, what you're going to do, and again, this is the unfortunate thing about being virtual, but again, I do stress that you set up a time to meet with me. Although it will be virtual, we will at least be able to talk one on one. Because the other thing about the virtual setting, there is a lot more people, and we all know that finances can be taboo. So if you would like, which I do highly stress, let's set up the one on one appointment. So this is what you need to do to create your savings plan. Number one, you're going to highlight the following transaction types in your bank statements. The first one is going to be out to eat. That might be your yellow highlighter. Then you're going to highlight your shopping. That may be your orange highlighter. And to specify, let me backtrack to the out to eat. That is exactly what it is. It's when you're not buying groceries, when you're not going to a grocery store, that is out to eat. I would also even say out to eat is going to the gas station as well, or like a convenience store or corner store as well. And I say that because, or a vending machine tray, you know, all of those would be considered out to eat because you didn't plan ahead. You had no plan, as it says there, savings plan. You didn't have a plan, so it wasn't a part of your groceries. So again, your out to eat are those type of examples. Shopping is, of course, going to be for. Yo, Trey has the vending machine spread throughout Charlotte, North Carolina. So definitely try to find his. Shameless plug there. For your shopping, this is going to be for clothing that is outside of back to school. You know, for kids, if you will. You know, frivolous shopping is what this is. You're going to be able to know, and I think this is also why the accountability is important, is because the person on the other end, like myself, is going to be able to ask you, okay, what did you get from Forever 21 and why did you get it? Like, you know, did you need it? Because again, you know, prior to COVID, this was being done face to face. The client is bringing this information to the intake, to the consultation, and we're sifting through it together. And then also, the third thing you're going to be highlighting in maybe green is going to be ATM withdrawals. I also somewhat want to include in that cash apps, cash app, or just, the what is the category for, how do you categorize Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, virtual banking, or whatever type of term? Let's put that inclusive of the ATM withdrawals. Uh, Once you have your three highlighters and you have went through 2 to 3 months, and unfortunately, right now we're in the month of January. So that means that your spending that you're going to be assessing is, well, actually, we're in February. I'm sorry. You're going to be assessing January, December, and November. You're going to be potentially, depending on who you are, you're going to 9 times out of 10 be upset with your spending that transpired from November, December, January. But all those who do discover that they are upset, you will also be surprised at how much money flowed through your account and went out of your account. And that's the other reason why you want to print out your bank statements, so that you can see how much money you started with in your bank account and how much you ended with. Because we're all standing here today and we have made it several months. And if we were having any form of conversation concerning finances, 8 out of 10 of us, and we'll even say 7 out of 10 of us, will 9 times out of 10 say, I don't make enough money. Number two, how to create your savings plan. You're going to get a total of each of these three categories. So one of your out to eat could be 600, your shopping could be 400, and your ATM withdrawals or money transfers could be $200. You're gonna get a total of each of those categories. Number three, you're going to create a goal to cut spending in those categories by 50% in the following month. This is not a shock. This shouldn't be something that creates woe in your life, because we're only dealing with out to eat, shopping, and the ATM withdrawals. So again, if you spent $600 out to eat, your goal for March, when you create your household budget, your goal for March would be to only spend $300 out to eat. Because, see, we also would be determining what your food and beverage budget is. And that's why I said, just because you know your and you can write out your list of monthly expenses does not mean that you are living on a budget. The fourth thing that you want to do to create a savings plan is, if you have an inability to save 10% of your net income, going back to the spreadsheet that I showed you earlier, the net income that I put in there, the after tax was $3,000. 10% of that is $300. Our third wealth building principle is to pay yourself 10% by way of savings. So again, if you have an inability to save 10% of your net income because of all of the expenses that you have, because you have to pay a lot of debt, because your car insurance is so high, et cetera, and you can't save 10% of your net income, what you will see here is that by cutting your out to eat, your shopping, and ATM withdrawal, by cutting that in half, you can start by saving that money right there. Or that money you may need to be allocating that money to paying down debts, which is also another conversation. Questions, comments, and concerns about how to create a savings plan. Again, I stress to you to set up a budgeting consultation with me before the end of this month so that you have a household budget and savings plan for March.